Can you come and check this when you have a chance? I can't see it properly because it's so dark. Is that going to be okay like that? Well, does it?
I think it looks fine because, again, your shirt's so dark.
All right, like that?
What's that? Oh, the chair. Can you move the chair? Thank you. That's fine. Okay. All right. You know when you're ready to go?
All right, so where are we going live?
Facebook fan page and Achieve Even More.
Facebook fan page and Achieve Even More. All right. All right. All right, I'm going to go live on Instagram. All right, so are you ready to get in the best shape of your life? Do you believe that it's all in your head? What do you think about the idea that every diet works, every workout program works? Do you believe that weight loss is all in your head? And I like to say it's fat loss, not weight loss. Let me know that you can hear me and see me properly. Right now, we're having a little bit of fun today in as much as so many people go on diets. And I often say after 2 weeks, they usually just lose 14 days. Do you realize that 95% of people who go on diets lose weight and then gain it back? Hey there, Sean. Hey there, Mimi. Hi there, Monica Ward. Thank you. Hey, Baran. 95% of people who lose weight gain it back. Why do you think that is? What do you think the number one reason is that people go on diets, start exercising? Why do you think they gain it all back? Right? Why do you think that happens? Right? Why? Like, let's understand effect versus cause, right? Do you believe in the law of cause and effect? Hi there, Christelle. All right. Hi there, Pri. Good morning. Do you believe in the law of cause and effect? For every effect, there's a cause, and for every cause, there's an effect. But where does it all begin? Where does it all begin? All right. So Nadil said we all go back to our bad habits, right? So where are our habits? Like, where are our habits? Which habits do we need to break? How long does it take to break, release, stop a bad habit or destructive or a disempowering habit, right? And create a new one. What if we thought about weight loss, okay, a little bit differently, and we stopped using weight loss as the barometer, all right? Hi there, Phil, right? What if we started thinking about, we really want to focus on fat loss instead of weight loss? If you think about what is your body made up of? Muscles, tissues, bones, organs, capillaries, water, blood, etc. When most people go on a diet, they lose mostly water. And they go, oh, I lost 3 pounds this week. I lost 5 pounds. Oh my God, this diet is great. Every diet works. Every diet works. But not every diet lasts. So here is the question for you. Where do you think weight release should start? There are 3 reasons that I want to give you that most people want to reduce or eliminate, release weight, right? They want to do it for a reason that they have, whether it's a reason like, I want to look great for summer. I want to fit into this suit or dress for an occasion. So it's for a reason, a season, or for a lifetime. Which do you think is gonna stick? A reason, a season, or a lifetime? Let's start with the decision of releasing weight. If you're looking to lose weight for a reason, do you think that is going to be enough to sustain you past the time that you actually get to that ideal weight? You lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, or kilos. A reason, okay, is good enough for motivation, right? Motive for action. right? A season is the summer season, okay? Whatever season it might be, right? But what about making a decision to release the excess weight, the calories, the fat, for a lifetime, so that you really do the things that are needed in order to release the weight, but you also sustain the behaviors because it now becomes a part of your identity. Have you ever considered, hold on, let me show you something. This organism of yours and mine, this brain? Have you ever considered, that this brain of ours has set points? We have a financial set point, how much we're used to earning. We have a relationship set point, what our relationship is like with the person that we love and loves us. We have a relationship, or a set point for our weight, right? How comfortable we are at a certain weight. So is it possible that if we have these set points in our brain, these comfort zones, or otherwise something known as homeostasis, this is my zone of comfort, is it possible that in order for us to be able to release weight and keep it off, we want to change the set point like a thermostat, right? Do we want to set the thermostat a little bit differently? All right? Is it possible? And so there are several different things that I want to share with you that I think are worthwhile, understanding why weight loss is all in your head. Before you decide to get into really great shape, release weight, ask yourself a question. The first question is, am I going to do this for a reason, a season, or a lifetime? First and foremost. If you're going to do it for a reason or a season, I want you to reset your expectations that chances are you will lose the weight, release the weight, but you will gain it back. Why? Because if you do not sustain the behaviors and the thinking and the habits past the point of the reason or a season, you will gain all the weight back. That's called yo-yo dieting. We're gonna yo-yo diet down and then we're gonna pick it right back up. Not because we can't do it, it's because our decision-making process and the expectations, that we've set in the decision, the initial decision, is defective. So when I was 238 pounds, when I decided to get into really good shape, I finally did the research to understand why was I losing, 5, 10, 20 pounds and then gain it back. Losing, gain it back, losing. I tell people I lost over 250 pounds, just 10, 20 pounds at a time. But for the last 12 years, I have been almost at my identical ideal weight, all right? Identical ideal weight. Why? Because I changed the expectation. I made a decision to release the weight and get into the best shape of my life, for my 50th birthday, and now going to my 60th birthday. Many of you know I've been working on a six-pack at 60, which is already there, and I'll post some pictures in a few weeks. But the first decision was in here. There are several things I want to share with you that I think will help you, all right? First, make a decision, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Let me ask you a question. How many of you are committed to getting healthy and staying healthy for a lifetime, from now till the end of your life? Type in the chat right now, wherever you can. All right, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Because if you're interested or committed to achieving it for a lifetime, all right, then there are a bunch of things that are really well worth you thinking about. All right, hey there, F-Man, nice to see you. All right, so I see a lot of people want to do it for a lifetime. So there are 5 things I'm going to share with you to consider as the initial. I'll give you a few more. So number 1 is, how do we reset our weight set point? And the first thing that I want you to think about is this. In your subconscious mind, do you think that you have an image of your current body and fat set point? Do you think you have an image the image that you see yourself in the mirror, the image that you see yourself on camera, do you think you have a self-image right now? And I think the answer is, of course you do. We all have a self-image. And do you think that that self-image creates the expectations that you have right now at a subconscious level? At a subconscious level. So one of the first things that I recommend that you do, and this is what I did to start releasing weight and keeping it off, is I cut out pictures. Many of you know, I do vision boards, right? So I know that I start off with the vision of what I want my physique to look like. I start off with a written description of how I feel. And I take a picture of myself, I cut off my head, I put it on this new image, and I look at that every single day to retrain my brain to have a new self-image with me in it. Does that make sense? I'm working from the inside out and the outside in, as I'll show you in just a moment. So I start off with an image to teach my brain, what is it that I want my physique to look like? How do I want to feel? What do I want to do? Does that make sense? Right? So first we work on the self-image part of this. And with the self-image, I want you to ask yourself several different questions. Let's say that 3 months, 6 months, 12 months from now, you want to look a certain way and feel a certain way. Okay, let's imagine you have that image. And let's say every day you look at that, then the next question that I want you to ask yourself is, what is the type of exercise plan, movement plan, that I could begin in order to burn the excess fat, not calories per se, but fat, right? How do I create a burning of the fat as fuel, right? And so for each person, depending on the shape that you're in, all right, you want to start off with something that creates thermogenesis. It's called thermogenesis, right? So thermogenesis is just burning of calories, but we don't want to just burn any calories. We want to get into the fat burning calories as much as we can. Why? Because we want to release fat and use fat as fuel as much as we can. So what is the exercise plan based on your health and well-being right now, based on what your doctor may suggest, or your trainer may suggest, or that you do research online, right? What is it that you can start using to burn fat? That's part one. Does that make sense? Part two is, and this is actually the harder part for most people. What is the food plan? Other people call it diet. I don't like to call it a diet because the first 3 letters of the word diet are die, and most people feel like they're dying when they, change their food plan. What is the food plan that I can start and sustain? Is it keto? Is it vegan? Is it being, a pescatarian? What is the food plan that I can sustain past the point at which I achieve my ideal weight and the ideal feeling that I have? What is the food plan? Because most people go on a diet, they release weight, they hit a target, and then what do? They stop eating like that. So if they stop eating like that, chances are that they're going to gain all the weight back. So we have to reset our brain's expectations of food and go from a diet to, this is the way I'm going to eat and sustain, my patterns. Now, if we started to exercise, if we started to eat right and sustain it, how many of you think that just with those 3 things, working on your self-image and making sure that you exercise to expend more fat, and energy, and getting on an eating plan, all right, that would already get you going? Now, if this sounds like I need to switch my habits, which are automatic, triggers and behaviors that my brain has gotten accustomed to. If I'm going to switch my habits, then how long does it take to override an old habit pattern, a strong habit pattern that you have right now? Anybody tell me? How long does it take? All right? How long does it take to switch habits so that the new habit is more empowering than the old habit? Are you a creature of habit? Am I a creature of habit? Of course. Our brain works based on patterns, thought, emotion, feelings, sensations, and behaviors. All right, so Lucy says 60 days, Kay says 90 days, Sanjay says 21 days. Rupert, you have been learning, right? The newest research, all right, over the last 3 years is it takes between 66 days and 365 days. 66 to 365. So let me ask you a question. If you are serious in releasing weight and keeping it off and getting super healthy and developing new habits, do you think that maybe if you started working, okay, on a different timeline, you would be able to create a new habit? So everyone who joins any of my programs commit to doing at least 100 days of the new behaviors, starting off slowly at first and then accelerating for at least 100 days to build a foundation and a baseline. Now, here's the question I want to ask you. If you committed to 100 days of thinking a little bit differently, behaving a little bit differently, do you think that if you committed for 100 days, okay, chances are you would pick up momentum and then continue with the behavior? Now, here's what most people do. They go on extremely strict diets. They go on extremely, high intensity exercise, and they do it for a week or 2 or 3, but they don't sustain it. Why? Because their habits override, okay? Their habits override their conscious decision-making abilities. And so when we look at releasing weight, getting healthy for a lifetime instead of for a certain weight or for a season, now we've changed the frame. When we look at creating an exercise program that we can start and a food plan that we can continue, both of those, over at least 100 days instead of 21 days or 30 days, now we start to develop a habit that then develops us. Right? So we're working on our self-image. We're working on our fat set point. Those are a couple of the keys in order to make, okay, the behavior and to reset the fat set point more permanent. All right? There are a couple of other pieces. Is this worthwhile for you so far? I'm giving you the neuroscience of this stuff, right? The reason a lot of people hire coaches, the reason people get into a program to help them is to create the habit as they learn what they need to do so they can sustain it. I went from 238 pounds down to 197 pounds, okay? It took me a little bit of time, but I've been able to sustain it for a long period of time. Now I'm working on other goals right now, all right? So, we've talked about self-image, we've talked about fat set points, we've talked about exercise and diet. I'm going to talk to you about 4 more things. And by the way, if you want to go deeper into this type of training, my team's going to put up a link for you so that you can actually learn a little bit about how to unlock the secret power of your mind and get in the best shape of your life. I'll give you a free training that's about, 75 minutes. Do you want that? My team will put up a link in the bio, up on Instagram and in Facebook, in the chat, and on YouTube, in the column down below. So I'll give you a deeper training if you'd like, and you'll also be able to take a look at how you can win the game of weight loss once and for all. All right, so the other thing that you want to understand that's working, again, we're dealing with the human brain. We're dealing with the most powerful organism in the world. We're dealing with electrical activity. We're dealing with neurochemicals. We're also dealing with hormones, right? So there are 2 things that a lot of people just totally don't take into consideration. Number 1 is sleep. The other one is stress. Sleep and stress. Let me talk about sleep first. If we don't have proper sleep cycles. We all operate based on circadian rhythms. It's the way that our brain and body regulates, okay, with the rhythm of the earth, all right? And so when we understand that sleep regulates our brain, sleep regulates our hormones, sleep allows us to not be in a state of stress. And Ranger, you are correct. When we do not have proper sleep cycles, there's a good chance that you might have elevated leptin, L-E-P-T-I-N, leptin levels. When our leptin levels are high, our body tends to hold on to fat. So in addition to nutrition, okay, how we eat, in addition to exercise, we really have to make sleep part of our weight release plan and our health plan and our feel-good plan. Why? Because we want to give our brain the ability to regulate the hormones that determine whether your body is going to let you use fat as fuel or not, right? Because we use carbohydrates as fuel, we use fat as fuel. Protein is for muscle building, right? And for repair, all right? So when we want to use fat as fuel, all right, hi Maggie. When we want to use fat as fuel, we also have to make sure that we don't have elevated leptin levels, but there's also, as I mentioned, there's also cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. And in the stress hormone, our brain wants to use carbohydrate as fuel. Why? Because carbohydrate, okay, is only 4 calories per gram, but it's rapid fuel for the brain. So in a state of stress, the fight, flight, freeze mechanism in our brain activates. It wants to use carbohydrate as fuel, which means it wants to retain fat because there's a higher degree of energy, okay? Calories is energy in fat, so it wants to hold on to it. So we have to consider, how can I reduce my stress levels? Sleep is one of them. Exercise is one of them. Meditation, okay, is one of them. Mindfulness is one of them. Doing things that inspire you instead of expire you. So now we've talked about exercise, diet, stress, sleep, hormones, self-image, fat set points, and I'm going to leave you with one final one. Losing weight or releasing weight and keeping it off is much more complex than most people understand. You know, I mentioned to you, I lost 250 pounds, just 10, 20, 30 pounds time. I got tired of putting in the effort only to gain it all back. So I said, I want to be able to release the weight. I want to reverse my aging, all right? And I want to get into the best shape of my adult life. And in understanding the cause of my behavior, which caused my results, I started to understand that it all boils down to weight loss, and keeping the weight off is all in your head. So that leads me to the last point. And for those of you who want to go deeper into this, there's a free training you can join me on, and we'll go even deeper so you can win the game of weight loss once and for all. There's addictions, right? There are now addictions. We could be addicted to behaviors. We could be addicted to food. We could be addicted to alcohol. We could be addicted to our mobile phones. We could be addicted to television. We could be addicted to a variety of disempowering, negative, in some cases, destructive things. So I'll give you an example. I was addicted to sugar. I was addicted to wine. I quit wine 12 years ago. I stopped eating sugar on a daily basis many years ago. I've taken, 30 days off, 100 days off. I kept coming back to these sugar addictions. So this past 11 months, as I've been on this a 6-pack at 60 plan, I've been off of refined sugar for 11 months. Actually, as of today, I have one more month, okay, to not having any refined sugar in 1 year. And I probably will stop having refined sugar altogether now that I've done it for so long. So when we have sugar addictions, okay, when we have alcohol tendencies, when we have any type of addictions that are destructive, those can set us off on our game. So for